Hey, good afternoon to you. It is July 21st, and you are watching Daily Cards Live here on ClaimsOnline.com, presented by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer, I think it's safe to say last night's loss, the worst one of the Cardinals' 2021 season so far.
And there are so many levels to it that make it even more maddening, more agony, giving us more agony, but also gives us more to kind of break down and talk about. But I agree with your statement. Anytime you give a game away, sometimes you just come out and you get beat, right? That happens in baseball. The best teams are going to lose 50 games. The worst teams are going to win 50. So you're going to get beat. But to give one away when you're desperate for victory, that's one that will stick in your craw for a long, long time. It's one you should have had. I said coming out of the break a few days ago that the Cardinals got to win 2 out of every 3, or basically from the All-Star break on, they had to win 40 plus games. 40 games, 40 victories probably wouldn't do it. 43, 44, that was probably the number you had to hit. And each one that slips away makes it harder and harder to achieve that number.
Yeah, and the fact that it's against the Cubs also hurts a little bit. You add on having to use Alex Reyes when you did, and his streak of consecutive saves to start his career as a closer comes to an end because of that. We could go on and on about some of the reasons why that loss was just so bad yesterday, and you saw after the game another frustrated Mike Shildt too, with the post-game press conference over the Zoom and having to answer to those questions. And when you look at it, and that a loss like that doesn't seem like one that you can put on the manager.
It's interesting you say that, because I think a lot of people automatically want to, and they automatically see him be frustrated in a news conference and kind of want to pile on. For those who don't know, Joe played college baseball, and the game. And that's one where he made, if not all the right moves, at least moves that you go, okay, I can see why he did that. You know what I mean? If you were managing or I were managing, I might not have gone to him there, but I see why he did it. It wasn't an illogical move. It wasn't, oh my gosh, what's he doing? What he did,
yeah,
you could understand.
But as he said, and this isn't the first time that he has said this. He came out and he said, I can't throw the same 2 guys every night. You cannot throw Giovanni Gallegos and Alex Reyes every night. Yes, he had to throw them last night to try to save and preserve the win, but he was trying to get through. It was a 5-run lead. When you have a 5-run lead in the 9th inning, you assume I can get 3 outs before they can get 5 runs in this situation. And Luis Garcia, there's a reason why he was available he was just out there and available. And it wasn't his fault last night, totally, that they lost. There was a pass ball by Molina on the strike 3. There was the error on DeYoung. There were multiple things that Mike Shildt can't go out there and do for you in that situation. And there are pitchers, and we've talked about this many times, when we look at this, as a manager constructs that bullpen, there are ways that he wants to go about getting a victory in a 2-run game, in a 5-run game, and there's ways he's going to use that bullpen when they're down 1 run or they're down 5 runs. There are guys that are going to be used in certain situations, and when you're up by 5 runs in the 9th inning, you go to Luis Garcia. That's just what you do, and every single team has that pitcher in their bullpen that they're going to go to when they're up 5 runs, and it's not a guy it's not an all-star like Alex Reyes. No manager in baseball would have used Alex Reyes in that situation unless he hadn't pitched in 5 days and you were just trying to get him work, which is not the case with the Cardinal closer.
Joe, your knowledge of bullpen usage is amazing and surprises me.
It's,
I
you know
thought
what?
we'd
It's
be,
all the
I
show. It's
thought
all
we'd be able
MLB the show, and the way that I've had to navigate my bullpen this year in that game, and just the way that I have learned so much playing that game this year. Thank God it finally came to Xbox.
All right, a couple of big picture things as I see it. One is, at least in my mind, I identified this team as, if they're going to compete, if they're going to win, it's got to be pitching and defense. Even though the offense may, underline it, may be coming along, up through last night, had to win with pitching and defense. What didn't happen last night? Defense. Defense cost them the game. Okay, let's put that aside. I just don't know how anybody can dispute that. Poor defense cost the Cardinals the game. It begins and ends there. Now, for fun, let's talk about bullpen usage. When he put Cabrera in the sixth, when he took Oviedo out, I think that's the only real, truly debatable move. I thought it was an inning early for Cabrera, but then you look who was up, you go, and this goes to the advanced metrics, the modern bullpen guys, who don't believe that the last three outs are the toughest. For them, that was the right move, and I understand it, because you had a lead, but it wasn't a gigantic lead. That was a place where that game could have got away from you in the middle innings. I probably wouldn't have done that, but he did, and I get it. However, when you've got three good guys, four if you count Helsley, for when you're ahead in a close game or a reasonably close game, as that one got away, you save those guys. You have to. As you point out, folks, if your rule is anytime I've got a lead or the game is tied, I'm using my four best guys out of the bullpen, your bullpen won't last till August 10th. It just won't. These guys are not numbers. As Tony used to say, they're men, not machines. And folks, you have to play it that way. You can't use your guys night after night after night after night. Well, poor defense forced them to use it. Now, who's good today? If you got to use those guys today, who's good tomorrow? It is a real domino effect that poor defense caused. Oh, the bullpen's a mess now. Yes, but why? Because the defense let them down.
No, you're exactly right. By the way, Ryan Helsley in the last month has dropped his ERA now from 5.52 down to 4.66. So he continues to trend in the right direction. As we talked about it this week, that he kind of moved into that Jordan Hicks role when Jordan Hicks went out. Jordan Hicks slowly working his way back. Miles Michaelis threw a bullpen yesterday, 60 pitches, so he's working his way back. Jack Flaherty also close to being back. So that's three more arms that you are hoping to add to this roster for whatever kind of push that you are hoping to make this year in the final 2 months, as we're now 10 days away, 9 days away from the trade deadline. I'm not sure we see the Cardinals make any kind of move. I really see them just holding steady and not doing anything at all right now with the makeup of this team and the construction really of just the 40-man roster. I don't know where you add to that.
Well, I think one of the things we could see Mo do, and I think in impact or marquee names, I think you're probably right. You know, I talked about David Peralta in the past. I've talked about Starling Marte. Everybody in St. Louis has talked about Max Scherzer. I'm with you. I don't think Mo will make one of those moves. I'm still hopeful, but I don't think so. It wouldn't surprise me if he found another low-hanging fruit, middle inning guy that would have pitched in the ninth inning in a game like last night. So a guy who may not be great, but he's not going to give up 5 runs before he gets 3 outs kind of guy.
The Cardinal lineup is out for the night, Rammer. So we don't have to use your whiteboard today to look at what the Cardinals are going to do, and it's
Before
It's the
stop,
same.
let's stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's play a little guessing game. Put me
Okay.
on
You
the
haven't
hot
seen
seat.
it yet. All right.
Let me ask you this: do any of the so-called regulars get a rest?
It is your regular starting 8.
Well, that's kind of what I figured. Part of that is desperation now. As
There
I
is a
said,
change, though.
then that means what does that mean? We going to drop Yachty down and move Bader up? Nope. Are we
Paul
taking
DeYoung is now hitting 6 tonight. Paul DeYoung 6,
Okay.
Tommy Edman 7th, and Harrison Bader is hitting 8th in the lineup. Bader still he continues to impress me, and having him hitting 8th right now, having Tommy Edman, your opening day leadoff hitter, now down in the 7th slot. I'm fine with this lineup 1 through 8. It does seem like you had 8 runs the other day, 6 runs yesterday. It does seem like this offense is starting to click. Just need to get those 27 outs before they score more runs than you.
Starting to click, perhaps. I'm still holding judgment with Arenado back in there tonight. Maybe it's the kind of lineup we can get it going. They put a lot of balls in play last night, and that was very, very encouraging.
They did. So tonight it'll be Adam Wainwright against Kyle Hendricks. Should be a very quick game. And Rammer last night, my 8-year-old, he sat and he watched the whole game with me. And he was, or I shouldn't say whole game with me. He watched the first about 7.5, 8 innings with me. And then he said, Dad, are they home tomorrow? And I said, yeah. He goes, can we go to the game? And I said, you know what? We can go to the game. And I went and I got some tickets for the game. And then I had to wake him up this morning and let him know that the team lost. It wasn't an easy conversation, Rammer, but I'm sure you've been there as well, too.
And I think what you just got to tell him is that's how baseball go.
Introduce him to Ron Washington early on in his in his life. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna put the Vert Trucker lid on tonight, and we're gonna head down to Busch, and we're gonna sit in the right field bleachers.
I got the traditional road navy blue, but this isn't a fitted cap. I'm kind of a cap snob in that I pretty much demand fitteds, but this one is you can see it's a Velcro back Cardinals. It's okay though. It fits fine. But I also did my, I don't know if you can see this, my Hockey Man St. Louis Blues shirt from this is a 20-year-old t-shirt. Everything I have is old.
Expansion draft is tonight, even though the roster has already pretty much been. But I don't know where I got this shirt from, but it's it's a red.
Birds on the bat.
Yeah, so
I've not seen that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna, it's gonna be a hot one tonight. So I'm just gonna sit out there and soak it up, and hopefully have a good time down at the ballpark for Game 3 of Cubs and Cardinals. Be back tomorrow. Early start time on Thursday, 6:00 start time on Thursday. So we will try to get with you a little bit earlier here on Daily Cards Live. Until then, we are presented by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Rammer, our friends over at Royal Banks.
Royal Banks of Missouri. It's where better service means better banking. It's easy to be a part of what Royal Banks wants to do for you to get on board. They want to help you achieve your financial goals. All you have to do is call 314-212-1500. You'll get a hold of a friendly, knowledgeable banker, and they'll find the service that fits you. Or, of course, you can go online to royalbanksofmo.com. Again, Royal Banks, it's where better service means better banking. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. You have been watching Daily Cards Live right here on ClaibsOnline.com.